We're here in Cambridge today because we're having a two-day event looking at the impact of Cambridge Cleantech over the last 10 years. So we launched in October 2011, and this month in October 2021 we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. The two-day event that we're undertaking at the moment is really a reflection of what we undertake as a Cleantech membership network. We had Daniel Zeitner, the MP for Cambridge and the Shadow Minister for the Environment, launching the event and cutting the ribbon metaphorically because it was a digital event. Then we had key speakers from academia. We had Johnson Matthews, one of our corporates. We had 4 elevator pitches from some of our Cleantech innovators providing some of the solutions. And then we had international partners, and it all culminated in a presentation from Cranfield University, who were looking for innovations to make their campus at the university in Cranfield more sustainable. This evening and afternoon at the Bradfield Centre, we've been having a networking event, a physical event for the first time in 18 months, and everybody was networking and having a good time and thinking about new opportunities for the future. And then we move on to the next stage of the two-day event, whereby we introduce the innovators themselves to the investors. And we have over 60 investors at the event who will be ready with their checkbooks to listen to the innovators, 25 companies pitching, and hopefully some of those innovators will tell a sufficiently good story about what they're trying to deliver in a similar sort of way to you see on Dragon's Den on the television. So we have smart cities companies. So there's a company based here in Cambridge called Zedify, which operates a range of tricycle bicycles, if you will, and the tricycle operatives get hold of the parcels, put them in the back of their tricycles and deliver them for the last mile delivery, which is completely pollution free. It's all done by pedal power, and it makes the environment better for the people in Cambridge. So essentially I would say that Cleantech and sustainability is at the top of the agenda at the moment, both for a policy point of view from government, from a business point of view from corporates and innovators, and also from academia. So it's across all sectors, basically.
What you see here is a demonstration of a collaborative project that British Antarctic Survey has together with a local Cambridge-based company called DressCode Shirts to use the medium of our clothing as a starting point for storytelling about climate change. The shirt itself is at the moment here frozen into a block of ice, which has been melting away throughout the whole period of this event and is being revealed bit by bit. And this is just a symbol for what is happening to our polar regions. There's 3 levels of storytelling embedded in this shirt. So the first is the main design that you see. These stripes symbolize the warming that has happened over the last 70 years in the Arctic, within the Arctic Circle. So 1950, blue, and then you end up here with the red in 2020. So a very stark reminder of how rapid and consistently that warming has happened, and of course that's linked to the loss of the sea ice in the Arctic and the devastating loss of habitat. The second level of data is slightly hidden in the reveals of the cuff and also the collar. So we are now moving from the Arctic to the Antarctic, and this shows us data that we have collected over the last 800,000 years of temperature and CO2 records in the Antarctic. So the lower darker red shows the CO2 records, and the upper lighter red the temperature records over these 800,000 years. And what we've seen in this period of time is that CO2 concentrations have varied roughly between 180 and 280 parts per million. And temperature has varied roughly by 10 degrees centigrade. Now we are at 415 parts per million. We are at CO2 temperatures that our planet has not seen for the last 800,000 years. This is a man-made situation. We can tell that from the fact that the CO2 that we get out of these ice cores since the Industrial Revolution has the isotope mix of fossil CO2. So we can clearly tell it is caused by human activity. The third level of data revelation is symbolized by a black button on this shirt. And that black button stands for the ozone hole. Through its presence in the atmosphere above Antarctica, it has changed the weather patterns. And this change in the weather patterns has delayed the warming that we can see so very clearly in the Arctic. What has not been delayed is the warming of the ocean. And it is the role of the ocean around the perimeter of the Antarctic that is getting underneath the ice shelves and is starting to accelerate the flow of ice from the Antarctic continent into the sea, and that is contributing to sea level rise. So we are seeing very concerning levels of loss of ice from the Antarctic, not so much because of the warming of the air, but because of the warming oceans around it. This is the time for us to step up and to up our game and to become agents of change in our professional capacity, in our private capacity, and we're hoping that this shirt will help you to start a conversation to bring about a thinking process that helps us to understand just how dire the situation is we are in, but also that this is the time to shine and to make a difference.
For Cambridge Cleantech, I think that any companies, be they innovators, SME innovators, 3 or 4 people working in a company, whether they're corporates looking for innovative solutions outside of the box, looking for open innovation, whether they're academics seeking to work with business and to work together to look at new solutions, research coming out of the universities. And if you're an investor in the investment community, we have a database of 300 investors who now focus purely on clean tech. So bringing all of those parties together, the innovators, the corporates, the academics, the investment community, Cambridge Cleantech is the place to be to meet partners and look for solutions and look for outcomes that can actually address the climate crisis. We're inviting members at cambridgecleantech.org.uk. Come and join us and be part of this solution for the future of generations to come.